Hey guys, what's going on? It is Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today, just figured we kind of relax and chill. It is the first day of a new year, a new decade, 2020. Happy New Year to all of you guys. Hope you had a good New Year's Eve, a good holiday season. No matter what you guys celebrate, here we are, another decade. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy when you get to be as old as me, how fast the last like 20 years have gone by. It's insane. Like I'm old, especially for gaming standards, but I was graduating from high school in 2000. So 20 years ago, it's insane to me that I spent way more time or significant amount of time outside of public school than I did in, when I don't really feel like it's been the case. Anyway, I said this, today we're going to open shards, by the way. I'm not going to just ramble to you guys, but again, I wanted to make it a super low-key video. No like champion guide today. There'll be one tomorrow. Just going to have some fun and kind of kick back and see what we get here with these ancients. Going to start out by opening 6, then we'll do the 40 after that. So yeah, I mean, I tweeted this out and I mentioned it on my other YouTube channel as well. Hey, start out with an epic, not too bad. Defiled Sinner too. I've never, Spider's Den, 4.8, thank you very much. I'm looking for a Spider's Den team. Attacks one enemy. Ooh, let me get my screen right here. Sorry, guys. Attacks one enemy, 50% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns before attacking. Okay. If 5 or more enemies are alive, does the following attack instead? Attacks all enemies. Place a 25% increase attack buff on this champion for 2 turns before attacking. Okay. Does he have, okay, I was going to say, does he have a skill based on enemy max HP? And he sure does. Attacks one enemy, then attacks all enemies, inflicting damage equal to 15% of their max HP if the first hit kills an enemy. This second hit cannot be critical. Okay. Well, that's a little bit of a limitation that it can't be critical, but sounds good. And then the other one is Corrosive Smog. Attacks all enemies. Damage increases by 10% for each enemy alive. Stacks up to 10%. You can see why he's a 4.8 in spiders. He was made for spiders. Interesting. If you guys want me to level up or max out any of these champions specifically that you really are interested in, go ahead and let me know in the comments and I'll make sure I do that. Another champion who's really on my wish list for a rare is Bellower, right? I've never had him before, and I really want to make a guide on him because he's so popular. And certainly one of the best top tier rares, along with, in my opinion, Cold Heart, Kale, and Apothecary, of course. All right, so 3 more. But yeah, anyway, I was tweeting this. I tweeted this yesterday, and I said this in my other YouTube channel too yesterday. But the thing is I don't like to make resolutions. You know, I found that, not to be all like cheesy and corny and stuff, but I found that for me at least, the best way to make positive change isn't by setting long-term goals, it's by like setting very short-term goals in terms of habits that I want to change on a daily basis, and then holding myself accountable to try to like make and cultivate those routines and those positive habits in my life. So just passing on advice that's worked for me is try the little small stuff. Try waking up a little bit earlier, try going to sleep a little bit earlier, try not drinking as much, not whatever your vices are, try limiting them on a daily basis. You know, I drink Monster energy drinks. The stream is not sponsored, by the way, or this video. But I drink Monster energy drinks all day. And, you know, instead of saying I'm going to give them up cold turkey, I'm just going to try to limit myself to 3, which sounds like a lot. But right now it's bad. Anyway, so my ramble session is kind of over. Let's go ahead and open 10 at a time here. Now on to the shards. So we just pulled the worst legendary in the game, Shamrock. I can't complain because it's a legendary, but it is the worst. Let's take a look at his ratings in a second. You know what? Let's take a look at him in my champion collection. Of course. Just my luck to get the worst. He's the one weird thing, right? Is when you get a champion that's this bad as Shamrock, you actually have the chance, like a far greater chance of him getting buffed, in my opinion, right? Because he's so bad that Plarium, if you're watching, Shamrock, give Shamrock a little love. Let's see how his reviews. He's 688 reviews. Oh, dude. Whoa. Not one ranking out of 700 people, not one ranking above 3. That's awful. Now, when you look at his kit, you're not going to think it's as bad as, you know, what I've made it to seem. Attacks one enemy 2 times, 60% chance of removing 1 random buff from the target. Whatever, right? A2, Lucky Charms. I like the motif, if you will, of Shamrock. All right, here we go. This is when I saw this skill on Shamrock back in the day, I was like, you know what? It doesn't look that bad, but it's interesting. Read or listen. Plays a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. Has a 50% chance of placing a 30% increased crit rate buff on all allies for 2 turns. 25% chance of placing a 15% continuous heal buff on allies for 2 turns if the crit rate buff is placed. 5% of blocked debuffs buff on all allies if the continuous heal buff is placed. Now you can book these up to extra 20% chance on the buff chances, but the reason is it looks awesome when you first see it all, like, whoa, he's doing a lot here. But it's predicated on the previous buff landing, right? So it's not that great. I mean, increased defense is solid, right? Definitely. And then the increased crit rate, who really cares? But you can book it up to a 70% chance. And then you can get the 25% chance, make it a 40% chance of having a continuous heal. And then, I don't know. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot of, like, I wish there was maybe one less buff there, or maybe all the buffs, without such like all the quid pro quos. All right, and then on the 5-turn, book down to a 4-turn on the A3, places a 30% decreased speed debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 15%, has a 10% chance of decreasing the turn meter of all enemies by a further 15% chance, and that cannot be booked for more. So a decreased speed on his A3, definitely not the A3 you're looking for from a legendary. Certainly not anything incredible, you know. A lot of these decreased speed debuffs also do a ton of damage. Doesn't even have that on there, you know. It's a 2-turn and it decreases the turn meter, but it's just not good, you know. Anyway, that's Shamrock. Sorry, I took a long time kind of reviewing Shamrock there. Again, I mention this every video for the most part, but if you like me spending extra time on these champions, if you don't like it, just let me know. So I did pull a legendary, but it was the worst in the game. I'm not exaggerating either there. I really do think he's the worst legendary. Okay, so nothing there. Yeah, nothing really to speak of there. Let's go ahead, and we did pull one other new epic, but I was too busy blabbing to you guys so much that I actually forgot. Oh, was it her? No, this is rare, idiot. Okay, this is who it was. So her reviews are actually pretty good. Adriel. Clan Boss, anything 4.7. Campaign, 4.7s. So 4.7 is the highest, which is really solid. Ice Golems, Void Keep. I really don't need her in any of these areas. I don't need a champion, I should say. An attack, support. Okay, she's support based. Let's see what she's doing here. Damage based on attack, though. Attacks one enemy, 20% chance of placing a 50% decrease accuracy debuff. Heals all allies for 20% of their max HP and places a 30% reflect damage buff on them for 2 turns. It's actually really solid. And then attacks all enemies, 50% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns, and 100% chance this attack is critical. If this attack is critical, my bad. So decreased attack guaranteed on the A3, and that is for 2 turns, but it's on a 5-turn cooldown. And then Humiliate has a decreased defense for 2 turns, obviously on the A1. So she's a good debuffer and support for a Clan Boss. Makes sense. All right, let's go on. Let me clear some room, and I'll be right back at you guys. All right, guys, 2 more groups of 10 here. Here we go. Shamrock. All right. Slayer, Wanderer, Hexweaver, Conqueror, Dark Aethel. She's no good. I'm really wanting Tyrell. I still don't have him. It's like, oof. I feel like I've done so many of these. Knight Errant. I don't have him either, so that's kind of cool, but we'll check him out. Give me something good. Okay, Warden, I already have. Grimskin, I already have. Okay, there it goes. So let's check out Knight Errant here. It's a good way, I feel like, at least for me, these shard opening videos too are kind of a good way to just familiarize myself with more champions in the game. Attacks one enemy, hopefully that's what you guys get out of it too, right? 30% chance of placing a leech debuff for 2 turns will ignore 30% of the target's defense. Okay. Not bad. A2, attacks one enemy. This is a 4-turn cooldown, cannot be booked. 60% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. Resets the cooldowns on each of this champion's skills if this target is killed. Okay. And then A3, attacks one enemy, 60% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. Damage increased by 75% if this champion has full HP. Okay. But it's a single target, though. Interesting. So he might be like a super heavy hitter. Let's see what his base attack is. Knight Errant. Warden and Grimskin I've covered before, but just to really quickly go through. Warden, look at how many books you need on Warden. That's insane. The one thing I wish in this game is that they would make books easier to get, like especially epic and legendary. They're next to impossible to get. There needs to be a way. I would love to see an update to this game where we could just farm books. You know, like a dungeon that you can only farm books, even if it's a 1% chance, at least you can grind it and get some books, right? There's no way to get them, you know, other than Clan Boss on Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare, right? So you almost have to have books to get to the point where you can actually beat or get enough damage on Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. Anyway, look at all these books. Are you kidding me? Dude, I've never seen this many on a champion. Have you guys? This is insane. 8 levels, 7 levels, 7 levels. Good God. Anyway, attacks one enemy, 40% chance of placing a weakened debuff for 1 turn. Damage increased proportional to defense. Inflicted proportional to defense. So a defense-based champion. This is why I like Warden so much. But then I look at all reviews on him, and people aren't very keen on him. People who have actually built him up. So that's prevented me from actually putting too much into him. But I actually like his kit, you know, upon first glance. Attacks all enemies, 50% chance of placing a 25% decrease attack debuff for 2 turns. And then places a 30% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. See, that's really, I think that's really solid. A2, really solid. You can get that up to an extra, what is it, 20% chance. So you're looking at a 70% chance and a 50% chance. I guess those chances are a little bit down, but it's also an AoE too. So anyway, attacks all enemies 1 time. Another AoE on his A3. Plays a 30% reflect damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. See, I think that's like really solid. I think it's a. I really think that his kit is super solid. What do you guys think of Warden? Am I crazy? Am I missing something? Why don't people love him as much as I feel like he's good, you know? This is the second time I looked at his kit, and the second time that I've been like, damn, that's actually really solid. All right, so A1 on Grimskin. Only 3 abilities. Attacks 1 enemy, 40% chance of placing a decreased speed. Or you could have Shamrock and get that on his A3. Whoa. Attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn. Has a 40% chance of placing a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn if the first provoke is placed. Okay. And attacks all enemies, 80% chance of removing 1 random buff from each target. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Grimskin. All right, so guys, checking out a couple of the new guys at the last batch there. Knight Errant actually has really good scores in the arena offense, but I don't think I would want him. I don't think I would want to use him in my team right now. So I don't see myself building him up. But if you guys really want to see like Shamrock or Knight Errant or whoever built out and maxed out, again, Warden, I don't know. He actually has good scores. So maybe I was incorrect by thinking I have 2 of him too. So I don't know. I could build him up, but boy, would it cost me an arm and a leg in terms of books. So if you really want to see Warden built out or anybody else, let me know, or any of my other champions that I haven't really put much into. Feel free to request, guys. I'll take your requests and I'll do, I'll prioritize doing reviews on, you guys can see everybody I have here. I'll prioritize doing reviews on whoever you particularly want to see. I think I might be doing Relic Keeper soon. Basically what I try to do is do champion spotlights and total reviews and max them out and play them on champions that are either new or really good or just have a ton of reviews, because I figure a lot of people have them if they're reviewing them a lot, or they were available, like Relic Keeper, almost 6,000. So I'll probably be doing him soon as well, testing him out. So guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, Happy New Year. Sorry for kind of rambling a little bit in this video, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Nonetheless, let me know what you think of my champions. Did I hit any that I was missing? Am I not giving enough love and respect to any of the champions that I pulled? Either way, guys, I really appreciate you watching. And as always, take care, guys.